Over the course of a year, I have to give a few difficult talks. I have to do the beginning of Lent talk so that once a year I can tell you to consider simplifying your life and going with less, and once a year you can ignore me. And I have to do the Advent talk so that once a year I can tell you that Advent's really important and Christmas doesn't actually start until the 25th of December, and you, once a year, can ignore me. I have to do the talk that makes everybody uncomfortable, including me. I have to do the money talk where I tell you that we're running on a deficit and everybody feels guilty. There are difficult sermons that are just part of the ordinary life of a parish priest. But I can honestly tell you that this one, Remembrance Sunday, every year, is by far the hardest sermon I have to give. By far. Because the last thing I would ever want to do is to disrespect soldiers, to disrespect people who lost their lives, to disrespect the people that lost those people, to disrespect the military in my own family. But I cannot, in good conscience, stand up here and say anything other than war is an abomination. War is wrong. It is disgusting. It is disgraceful. War is a blight on our country. It is a blight on our world. It is a stain on humanity. It is wrong. It is wrong that people lose their lives fighting on the order of someone who probably doesn't even know their name. Fighting because politicians and aristocracy tell them to. Fighting because we have failed to live in peace. And here's the thing, the last person that you need to convince that war is horrible, the last person you need to convince of the horror of war is a soldier. Because a soldier knows it better than I ever will. A soldier knows about the pain and the agony and the anguish of war better than I ever will. A soldier knows the horror of war. This poem was written by a man called Walter Goldsby. He was a soldier in the First World War, and it's called Remorse. Once I was a soldier, and I was taught to use a gun, and then was sent to war to kill some mother's son. I had no hate at all. I joined up like the others, answering my country's call. In arms, we all were brothers. Now that I am older and feel the menace of time, I wonder if killing is heroic or a crime. Sometimes I see that boy, his young face begrimed with dirt, a hole between his eyes, and blood trickling down his shirt. He knew he had to die. His bright eyes were on my gun. He did not ask me why, that poor little mother's son. In my dreams I hear her, a mother without a son. I'd committed murder of her most treasured one. I cannot wash my hands as Pilate did that day, or travel far like Cain, or like Judas spurn my pay. I pray that mother's son with thee evermore may live. Give me his crown of thorns, and if thou can, forgive. People go on for the rest of their lives, living with the pain and agony of war, in remorse, in shell shock, in trauma, and not just soldiers, children, civilians, people caught up in the crossfire of other people's hate. Because of the sheer scale of the war, it is difficult to calculate the number of people that died in World War I. But the total death toll on both sides is approximately 10 million soldiers and 8 million civilians. 8 million civilians. 18 million human lives snuffed out. And they thought that it would be the last war. The total death toll on both sides for World War II was approximately 24 million soldiers and 49 million civilians. 49 million civilians, because the strategy in that war on both sides was to drop bombs on people's houses. Not to target soldiers, to drop bombs on people's houses. It is wrong. War is wrong. Death is wrong. The world is broken. It is wrong that today young women and men will die fighting. Civilians and children will die because of hate. Why is it so hard for us not to hate? Why is it so hard for us to see the humanity in each other? To see someone not as an enemy, but as another human being. Our reading today wonders the same thing. Surely this commandment that I am commanding you today is not too hard for you, nor is it too far away. It is not in heaven that you should say, who will go up to heaven for us and get it for us so that we may hear it and observe it? Neither is it beyond the sea that you should say, who will cross to the other side of the sea for us and get it for us so that we may hear and observe it? No, the word is very near to you. It is in your mouth and in your heart for you to observe. Surely this is not too hard. Surely it is not too hard to choose life. Surely it is not too hard to choose peace. The hope of the Christian faith is that God will repair what we have damaged, what we broke, and restore our world to us. Restore to us what we were supposed to be. That is the hope of the Christian faith, the hope that one day there will be no more death, no more war, that humanity will be restored. One day the pain and agony of death will be a distant memory. But in the meantime, we can do better. We can do better. We can strive for a better world today. We can strive for a world where violence is not our way of solving problems, where combat is at the bottom of our list of solutions to international disagreements. We can strive for a world where we choose talking over fighting, where we choose loving over hating. Strive for a world where war is not an everyday fact of life. Strive for a world where young men and women do not die on the orders of people that don't know their names. So here is my commission to you today. Here is my challenge to you today. Stand for something more, something better. Stand for a better tomorrow today. Choose peace. In everything you do, choose peace. Strive for a better world. Choose life. Choose love. Decide not to hate. Stand up against injustice. Stand up against intolerance. Stand up against hate. Because human beings, we can do horrible, horrible things. We really can. But I believe we can be amazing as well. I believe you can be amazing. Honor the fallen, not by fighting, but by choosing not to fight. Honor the fallen by choosing peace. Honor the fallen by choosing life. Be better. Choose peace. Choose love. Choose life.